Good morning. It is now 12 minutes to 9 on the 22nd of February 2026, and I'm here in Pretoria, South Africa. In recording here now and then I do miss a verse, and in the recording of Exodus chapter 19 I missed verse 16. So I am doing that verse now here in Pretoria, South Africa. And I am at a place here, it's a Voortrekker monument, but I'm going to do a recording for Revelation chapter 5 here as well. So you can see that on Revelation chapter 5. But I'm standing just here at the sign, which points towards all kinds of important things that happened ultimately in my culture's history, in the history of the Afrikaner people. And all of these things. So these are all signs pointing to. And in Exodus, there's lots of things that God speaks about that points towards ultimately He's leading them out of Egypt, out of slavery. And they were supposed to remind each other always of that. Like these signs showing towards those kinds of places. Like the signs ultimately then in Exodus as well. Supposed to point towards, or not supposed to, is pointing towards it. And in verse 19, it's just before the giving of the 10 words, or the Decalogue, 10 commandments. And so verse 16, Exodus 19, verse 16. On the morning of the third day, there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud on the mountain and a very loud trumpet blast, so that all the people in the camp trembled. Actually, by the way, doing Revelation now, there's lots of loud trumpets as well in Revelation. Okay, so what happens in this verse? It's on the morning of, so the previous ended with God, verses ended with God telling Moses how they're supposed to get the people ready for when Moses is going to go up the mountain and when God is going to, so that God can ultimately appear to them, but they're not going to go up the mountain. Remember, they're not allowed to even get close to the mountain, all those kinds of things. Okay, and so this is the background just before, and in verse 15 it ended by they need to be ready in the third day, not go to near any woman. So for those 3 days, abstain from any intercourse. Right, and so in verse 17, after this, Moses is going to bring the people up, not up to the mountain to descend the mountain, or sorry, ascend the mountain, but just to get closer. So, right. And so then in verse 16, as on that morning, then the trumpet, the thunders and lightnings. Now, yes, here, this area is known for their lots of thunder and lightning. And about a week, just about 8-9 days ago, I was sleeping and was woken up by thunder and lightning. And it was so bad. It lasted like for 2 hours. And it was like, I thought I was going to die. Right, that kind of, it was really bad. It was like, oh man, I've never experienced something like that in my life. Maybe one time in Russia, kind of, but not for that long, right? And so just imagine here on this mountain, this thunder and lightning coming down, and because of God's presence. And we've seen so much about God's holiness and the danger ultimately. God is different, right, from us. And then there was a thick cloud. Now there are clouds around, but not thick like this would have been. And there's this loud trumpet blast. The trumpet blast is to get the people to come up for war. And as a result, all the people in the camp trembled, right? Now, yes, like I was lying in that bed in that little room there with this lightning and thunder going on. I was trembling. I was just praying, basically. Hang on, this is the end of it, kind of, right? I'm not going to get through the whole Bible. I'm not even going to get through Revelation, and all these things are not even edited yet, right? And I'm like, and that same kind of, with God's coming to them, and that massive thunder and lightning and thick cloud. And yes, God is holy, right? God is not our buddy. Maybe I'll just show you here. Okay, here is the monument. Okay, there's some peacocks here in the front. I get an idea of this museum complex.